Hello everyone, today's video is going to be a bit more casual. I just want to talk about Wolverine. So there's not going to be much editing or anything like that, just an old school video, me talking about a comic book character I'm very passionate about with just some random gameplay in the background. So hope you guys enjoy, and I also want to hear from you guys in the comments below about your thoughts on what I'm about to talk about here with Wolverine. So, as most of you guys know, if you've been around the channel for any bit of time, I am more of a DC guy. I like DC Comics, I like Marvel Comics, but I'm generally more of a DC guy. But my favorite Marvel character has always been Wolverine, and he's always been one of my favorites in comics in general. But sadly, he hasn't really been up to much lately. Like, Marvel's been holding him back for a while. It feels like ever since the death of Wolverine, he just hasn't quite recovered in the comics. It's really weird. It sucks because I love Wolverine. He's a great character, and he's had some moments since the death of Wolverine, but for the most part, it's been bad. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to be all over the place today. Sorry, this isn't scripted or anything. This is just off the top of my head talking about Wolverine. So sorry if I ramble or get lost at any point. So, but I guess let's talk about the X-Men a little bit first. Marvel got bored with the X-Men because they didn't have the screen rights, so they decided to go, hey, the Inhumans are our new mutants. And no one really liked the Inhumans as far as on the screen went. Like, they failed with their big screen adaptation. They had varying success in the comics, but never quite hit X-Men levels. And then Marvel got the rights back, got the screen rights back. They're like, oh, Inhumans, yeah, I'm bored. I don't want to play with you anymore. X-Men, you're back in. So the X-Men got, including Wolverine, got kind of put to the wayside during that point. They killed off Wolverine, and then they got the screen rights back, and they decided, okay, time to bring the X-Men back and do something interesting. And they brought Krakoa back, which is just the worst. Hickman actually did a really cool story with House of X Powers of 10. I actually really liked those two miniseries. It was great. But sadly, the X-Men peaked early with that. That stuff was really cool and interesting, and then the actual X-Men line started, and it sucked. But it brought Wolverine back again, because we had Return of Wolverine after the Death of Wolverine, which Death of Wolverine as an event was okay. Like, it wasn't a horrible event. It wasn't terrible. There have been much worse death of insert character name here in comics. Wolverine's death was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It looked very pretty with Steve McNiven doing the art, but it was alright. Return of Wolverine was horrible. They had him looking like a sushi chef. He looked bad. The story wasn't interesting, and all of this was done by the same guy. So it was interesting that there was varying quality. But anyways, I did not like Return of Wolverine. So he got brought back through that. They kind of gave him like heated claws, which lasted for 2 seconds, and then I don't think he has that anymore because it's never used. It's really dumb because, like, hey, my adamantium claws can cut through anything. Oh, cool. Now they can get kind of hot. It's like, oh, well, that doesn't really, what? That doesn't add anything. Wolverine doesn't need more power. Stop it. So they did that, and then we had Wolverine come back with Krakoa. We got a series with Benjamin Percy, I'm very mixed on, because he, to me, from my observations, from what I've read of his work, he seems to be a guy that's great out the gate, and then he just, like, stumbles, falls, and crashes and burns. Like, I really enjoyed the beginning of his run on Green Arrow during Rebirth, and then the more it went on, the more it got worse. It just, like, it started great, and then it just, like, got worse and worse. And it's like, oh, Nightwing, he wasn't on for very long. I really liked all his Nightwing stuff, but he wasn't on for very long. And then Wolverine here, I actually really liked it at first. I thought there were some great stories. He did some cool stuff with vampires. Like, I really liked what he was doing. And then it slowly turned into, oh, this isn't very good. So the few things I've read from Benjamin Percy, it seems that he kind of just, like, fizzles out. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. If you guys have read some of his stuff, I want to know if you guys think the same thing. But yeah, he's not horrible right now. Like, he's still writing Wolverine, and we're like 24 issues in. And there's occasionally an issue where I'm like, oh, that was good. But for the most part, it's mediocre right now. Like I said, the beginning of his run of Wolverine was cool. Like, doing some stuff with vampires, and, like, it was interesting. Now, but also it got bogged down by having to tie into the other X-Men stuff. Like, X of Swords was so dumb. Like, the stupidest event. Well, not the stupidest, because we have the freaking Hellfire Gala. which is really dumb, where a bunch of mutants dress up for a... it's so stupid. I hate what's going on with the X-Men. I love the X-Men. When I first got into comics, the two back issue bins that I would go to are Superman and X-Men. Those are the two main ones that I would go to when I first started reading comics. I would go to those back issue bins and dig through them, and to see where the X-Men's at right now, it's kind of sad. So yeah, especially Wolverine, because he's my favorite. But yeah, so currently Wolverine's just okay. Like, it's not a horrible. It's like, it's not bad, but it's not great either. And occasionally there is a good issue. Like, there's just a little story arc with Deadpool that wasn't bad. And I was like, oh, I kind of enjoyed that. It wasn't bad. There was a Moby Dick one shot that I actually really enjoyed. Issue number 19. I thought issue number 19 was actually one of the best issues of Wolverine in a while. But yeah, the other issues just haven't really knocked my socks off as of late. But, you know, maybe now's the time to talk about some of the stuff that I did enjoy with Wolverine from back in the day. So, of course, Claremont is my favorite. I think he did the best Wolverine. What he did with in Madripoor with Patch is really cool. Obviously, the miniseries he did with Frank Miller is amazing and one of the best. I love what he did. I have that epic collection of Madripoor. It's so fun. It's like such a fun book. I love that. I really like what Mark Millar did with Wolverine for his stint on Wolverine. That was really cool with Enemy Estate, and then obviously Old Man Logan. Everyone knows Old Man Logan. So I really like what Mark Millar did with Wolverine. Daniel Way did some really cool stuff with Wolverine. Wolverine Origins. I remember reading that when I was far younger than I should have reading it, because some messed up stuff happens in that book. I was like, damn. Like, as a kid reading that, I was like, holy crap, what is going on? But it's a Wolverine book, so what do you expect? But that was when you have, rest in peace, Steve Dillon, who was on the art on that book. And yeah, I really like Wolverine Origins. To me, Wolverine Origins has the best Deadpool story of all time. Like, my favorite. There's a great Deadpool story in there that also involves Winter Soldier a little bit, and it's just fantastic. It switches to like Deadpool's perspective through part of it. You see how Deadpool sees things, how insane he is, and it's a really good. If you haven't read, I think it's volume 5 of Secret Origins from Daniel Way, and Daniel Way is probably my favorite Deadpool writer. He's one of my favorite Wolverine writers, but I think he's probably my favorite Deadpool writer, and it really shows in Wolverine Origins. So yeah, check that out if you haven't. I've made videos on that storyline before, actually. I love that storyline. Someone else that it's kind of controversial, but I actually liked on Wolverine was Jason Aaron. I know some people hate Jason Aaron, what he did with Wolverine. I personally hate modern day Jason Aaron. I think most of what he does now sucks, but I think he has written some good comics, and I enjoyed a lot of his Wolverine run. I actually really liked Wolverine Goes to Hell. I thought that was cool. Like, Mystique tricking Wolverine and getting him to go to hell, and the whole thing of him fighting all his illegitimate children and not knowing it and killing them, and then having to battle his way out of hell, and then once he gets out of hell, he goes and he hunts down Mystique and he kills her. Like, that was badass. That whole thing was sick. I loved when that was going on. And also we got Ron Garney on some of the art during his run, which, oh man, Ron Garney, one of my favorite artists, definitely one of my favorite Wolverine artists. That was so cool. But yeah, I'm reminiscing. I sound like an old man reminiscing about the good old days, because we haven't had consistent good Wolverine comics in a long time, and it makes me sad because he's one of my favorite comic book characters, and he's one of the most popular characters. Maybe with him coming back for Deadpool 3, which is cool, I'm happy that's happening. Maybe with him coming back for Deadpool 3, they'll do something. They'll be like, hey, maybe we should, put this character back in the comics and make him interesting again, because he's kind of in his own thing, and he has to tie into Krakoa, which is annoying. But it's weird because Wolverine used to, when he was like super popular, would tie into everything, like every big event, everything else. He'd show up in other people's books all the time. Now he's in his own book, and he like ties into the other garbage ass Krakoa stuff, and that's it. It's weird. It's weird to see, because the MCU is so popular that Marvel's able to make everyone popular, and they can make a lot of different people sell and marketable, that they don't have to rely on Wolverine. It's not like, DC, where they're just like Batman everywhere, because he's what really sells, so we gotta throw him everywhere. Marvel's like, nah, Moon Knight's selling well, we don't need you, Wolverine. So it's interesting to see. But yeah, that's my little rant. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. What do you think about the current state of Wolverine? And I also want to hear from you, who wrote your favorite run on Wolverine? I listed some of my favorites. Like I said, my favorite is Claremont, but I have a lot of love for what those other guys did that I mentioned, Mark Millar, Daniel Way, and Jason Aaron. But anyways, I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Who are some of your favorites? Who is your favorite writer on Wolverine? And hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.
Hey, skinny boy, saucy boy, I be running to the bank. Yeah, you know I hit the gas in the whip full tank. Riding past the ocean while I'm listening to Frank.